Howdy who, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tom Mike. So glad you're here. What do we got going on? Well, we got a lot of volatility in this market, right? Been a very volatile week. That Monday we had that big downdraft. Tuesday we had the big updraft. Some days we went up and down in the same day. The Fed came out. They didn't do anything, right? They just kind of said, we're just going to pause for a while and see what happens. You see, they're looking to see what direction the market's going to head. And so the market is trying to find what direction it's going to head. Now, I personally think they're going to push it up one more time, probably up to 63, 6,400 on the S&P. I don't think the Russell's going to make a new high. The Russell is the small caps. Small caps have already topped out and they're starting to come down. This is the topping out pattern that we're in. And I think that this bull run's been 16 years, right? Longest bull run in the history of the stock market. And it's been incredible, right? Straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up. But it's coming to an end. Now, how do I know that it's coming to an end? Well, here's the thing. You can go back to 2008, 2009, where the bull run started, right? And they'd print $1 and they get $3 in the GDP. So every $1 they print, they could add $3 to the GDP. Now today, it's the reverse of that, right? They have to print $3 to get $1 of the GDP. You see, this whole market has been fake. It's been a facade. Ever since 2009, their whole goal was to just print money to reinflate the asset bubbles. Very successful at reinflating the asset bubbles. They reinflated the real estate housing market, really stock market, reinflated that, right? They've just printed the money. And that was their goal, to reinflate the assets, to keep the wealthy people wealthy. You see, this market has been based on money printing. It's not been based on anything to do with the economy itself per se. Look, you put 30 trillion into the economy, you can have a pretty good party, right? But the economy itself, I don't really think of that as strong. Now, this has been the longest economy without a recession, right? Because we got these modern monetary theory going, right? You don't need to ever have a recession again. All you do is print money, and that's free, right? It doesn't cost anything to print the money. But you see, I'd beg to differ. The modern monetary theory doesn't realize the big price that we're paying. Now, how are we paying for this? We're paying for this with higher prices, right? We printed the $30 trillion and the prices all went up, including the stock market, including the real estate market, including the food prices, including the gas price. Everything went higher, right? And that's what we're supposed to do. But here's the problem. The prices aren't ever going to come back down until we get the reset, right? They're going to stay elevated and they're going to continue to go up. Now, they claim they're going up at a lesser rate, a slower pace, but they're still rising. They're not coming back down. You see, that's the price that you pay when you go with the modern monetary theory that states you never have to have a recession, because if you're ever about to go into one, just fire up the printing press, right, and start the printing again. And that's exactly what we've been doing, but we're paying for it with sacrifice, right? I mean, pretty soon a dozen eggs will be $25, right? But you're okay with paying for that because there's been no recession, no real job losses. All we've been able to get a job, right? So everything looks flush. Everything looks clean. But you see, I'd beg to differ, and I would argue that recessions are good. Every economy needs recessions. You see, the new thinking is that we never need a recession ever again. And that if you don't have a recession, you don't get the flush out. So you get these bad businesses, right? Now, these bad businesses would be zombie companies. You have a bad business model, right? They don't bring in enough profit to even pay the interest on their debt, let alone paying their debt off. Kind of like our government. We don't bring in enough money barely to pay the interest, and we're never ever going to pay the debt off. We have a zombie government, if you will. We have zombie companies out there. But we need a recession to flush out the zombie companies, to flush out the bad business models. There's no reason for them to stay in business. They should go away. They have a bad business model, but they can keep subsidizing them by printing money and keep loaning them money to keep them afloat so that that they can keep hiring people and people can keep working at these, well, but they're really fake jobs. They're real jobs, don't get me wrong. People are working hard, but they're never going to turn a profit. It's always going to be for a loss. So you might as well have them working in nonprofit organizations instead of actually just keeping this business alive. But that's what we do. We print the money. Now you see, and there's a price that we're paying. Now when I was a kid, which was a long, long time ago, but we never saw homeless people. Homeless people, they were probably a few of them around, but they were not really out in the open. They were kind of hidden. They had places they would go, and they actually had beds where they could go to, like a church, and they could sleep there, and they could, even though they were homeless, there'd still be a roof over their head. If you lived in Nebraska, they drive around, they pick up the homeless people. They'll freeze during the winter, and they bring them to the shelter, right? Okay, now today we have homeless people everywhere. And when I was a kid, if you had a job, there's no way you could possibly be homeless. You could go out and mow lawns and live indoors. I mean, it's that simple. Things were cheaper then. But right now, people with jobs are living outdoors, they're living in their cars, and they're in food lines at the food banks. You wait 2 hours and you get a couple of bags of groceries, right? And that's what people are doing. These are working class people. These aren't people that are lazy. These aren't people that are out of work. Now, why is this? Well, this is the reason. This is the price that you pay for that modern monetary theory, where you can just print money to paper over all of these problems, right? Maybe they need to print a little extra money, give to all these homeless people, maybe get them back inside. I mean, that's what the whole theory is, if it doesn't cost anything to print money, let's print each one of them and let's give them each $1 million. Well, let's give everybody $1 billion, right? Because printing money, there's no repercussion to that, right? There's no side effects to that. So we could just send out money at, $1 billion to each person, right? And the price you pay, of course, is the prices of food would continue to go up. Price of everything would continue to go up. That's my whole point. At some point, this has to give. At some point, this is not sustainable. Now, what does it do? It keeps the wealthy, right? You continue to print money. It keeps them very rich. Rich people get richer and poor people get poorer. That's what the printing of money does. That's what modern monetary theory does. It's called Keynesian economics, right? They fiddle with things. They lower the interest rates down to zero, get it down to negative. They print the money, right? And then the Austrian economics, we believe that you should have free markets and let the market decide where the interest rate should be. Let the market decide where the price of your home should be. There's no free markets in the United States. If you watch my channel, you're well aware of this. You know this, but is the economy really booming? That's what I want to talk about. Is this economy really as strong as they tell us it is? I don't think it is, not with all these homeless people. And these are working homeless. I know several of them. I'm a volleyball player, beach volleyball player, and these people, they go to work, but they're living in their car. I mean, they can't live indoors. It's really, really fascinating, really sad, the dynamics that the Federal Reserve has put us in. Now, my whole belief is that the Federal Reserve needs to be removed, and we need to get back to a free market economy that's not fiddled with, that's not printing of money to make everything go up. But that's just my take. Now, I think there's going to be a lot of pain coming. A lot of pain coming. You see, the housing market, what have they done to the housing market? Well, they just kept it propped up, right? I mean, the housing market was coming down in 2008, and they said, oh my God, the housing's crashing. We got to pump it up. So they printed money, and they did a lot of subsidies to people getting loans. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac went out there, and they lowered those interest rates. Don't let those houses come down, because they can't, right? That's where they get their income from, the government, taxes, property taxes. What have they done? Continue to go up higher and higher and higher. Now, what is the average age of a person buying a home? This is really fascinating. Okay, the average age of the first-time home buyer, 30 years old, just 10 years ago. Now it's 36 years old. What happened in 10 years? What happened? Well, they printed a lot of money. Now, just before the pandemic, the average age of a home buyer was 46 years old. You know what it is now? Just after, before the pandemic, 46. After the pandemic, 56. What happened? Was it the pandemic that did that? No, it was the printing of money that did that, right? Okay, so all the houses have gone up. There's also the interest rates, right? The people locked in, so they can't sell their home to move upward and become mobile or anything. Only the wealthy people can buy homes, and the wealthy people are the older people, right? But that's just the pain that we're going to feel in the housing market is just getting started, right? Now, don't get me wrong. They're going to try to keep this propped up as much as they can. 85% of mortgages are backed by the federal government, right? They have their hand in there. They bought $3 trillion worth of mortgages. You see, you take all that out and you got house prices way below half off where they are now. So the pain is still going to come. This will flush out. It will take a little more time. See, in 2008, we never let the market flush out, right? We just started, it's going down. We got to print money, and get it going back up. And they done that. They blown the bubble up bigger, the biggest bubble in the history of the real estate market. And people think it can't pop. Maybe they're right. Maybe the Moon Boys are right. Maybe Barbara Cochran's right. Maybe Dave Ramsey's right. Maybe it's the best time to buy because these prices are cheap. But there's one problem. Nobody can afford to buy them. I know the buyers have gone. Buyers have gone away. It's locked up. It's frozen, right? We talked about that. I mean, you'd have to go back to 1995 to find a time where house sales are at a lower low. Do you realize this is incredible to me? And I love this, being a real estate broker. Anyways, 70% of real estate agents in 2024 did not sell even one house. They sold 0 houses. Now, real estate isn't eat what you kill business. So what happened? Well, they didn't get paid. So what's happening to membership at the real estate? Dropping. They're all going away. Who's left? Tall Mike. I'm going to be the only one left. I'm trying to retire here, but they keep sucking me back in. All these agents are getting out. Why? Because they couldn't sell a house. There weren't enough transactions. Plus, they didn't know how to get the transactions. See, that's the thing. You go out and you get your real estate license. You know, when I first got my real estate license, went to work for one of the big firms, and I walked in there. First day, I dressed up in my tie, my sport coat. Oh, I was looking good. They said, "There's your desk." And I said, "That's cool. I got a desk." Then they handed me a phone book and slammed down the desk, and they said, "Start calling." I go, "What? Start calling?" That's how you got listings back then. You just called through the phone book. You'd dial for dollars, they called it. And you'd call up and go, "When do you plan on moving?" You'd get hung up on like 8 out of 10 times. Maybe some crazy person would stop and talk to you, but I never got a listing that way. Now, things have changed a little bit today with the internet. A lot of people are on their Facebook, their Instagram, trying to get the listing, but it don't work. It don't work, I'm telling you. That's why 70% of agents did not sell a house. I got sidetracked there, but the pain in real estate is really just starting. There's really been no pain felt unless you want to. See, people don't look at it the right way. They look at it like, oh, my house, I bought it for $1.2 million. It's still at $1.2 million. 3 years later, it hasn't gone down any. You see, Tall Mike, you told me it'd be going down. Well, you see, in real money, it has gone down. Has gone down about 40%. 40% in real money, right? If you had taken that money, put it into gold, which is real money, it would be 40% off for you right now. And that's what I tell people now. Now's not the time to go out and buy. Save your money, but save it in real money. Save it in gold and silver. Gold and silver, look at gold leading the stock market up again this past year. 2024 led it up. It's led it up for the last 20 years. Now, why is that? Because we're in a fake market, right? We're in a fake market. Is all they do is print money, which sends gold higher. Real money goes higher. The more money they print, value of purchasing power going down, gold taking off, right? And it's outperformed the stock market for over 20 years. Nobody wants to talk about that. Outperformed the bond market for over 20 years, doubled the bond market for the last 20 years. Bond market average, 3-4%, gold 8-9% over the last 25 years. Anyways, it's a way better way to save for purchasing a house. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a real estate agent. I'm a broker, right? I love real estate. It's my life. There's just going to be a better time to buy than there is right now. The pain that's coming to some of these people, it's going to be heartbreaking, right? Just that guy that bought for 1.2 and 3 years later, he's still at 1.2. He is so stoked, right? His house didn't go down. Oh man, he's gonna be bummed out when that gets cut in half. But anyways, that was his choice, right? And your choice, you can go out and buy now. You want to be the bag holder, want to feel some pain? It might be a good thing to do. Don't get me wrong. I made a lot of mistakes in my life. I made some big errors. I got crushed in every market, really. Actually, in houses, I've done pretty well, though. I've done all right. There was a big downdraft there where I got in a little trouble, almost had to declare bankruptcy, worked my way out of it, kind of wiggled my way out of it. Anyways, I had 3 or 4 homes that were rentals and I had to get rid of them because they were going down, right? They were going down. I was losing my butt all at the same time. It's going to happen again. Always happens. Every time it becomes unaffordable, it'll get to a point where it's affordable again. People don't believe that. People go, it's never going to be affordable again. Well, go out and buy right now and see how affordable it is for you. I'm telling you, it's going to adjust. It will adjust. It's just taking time. Right now, real money down 40% already. Nominal money, still kind of flat, down about 5% nationwide. We'll see how that all plays out. I'm Tom Mike. You like this stuff, give me a thumbs up. Punch that subscribe button. Get out there, everybody. Have a great day. And actually, it's the weekend, right? Enjoy the weekend. Bye-bye now.